This is a presentation of Mindbender Entertainment Sports. No reproduction of this video may be produced without the written consent of Mindbender Entertainment. Hello Planet Internet, I'm Emperor Cole for Mindbender Entertainment, and today this is a special presentation of Mindbender Entertainment Sports. And today I'm going to give you my picks for the NFL Week 3 games. I'm going to let you know who's going to win and of course who's going to lose. Everybody, let's get prepared to take this journey together. Let's do it. First, I'm going to go through the 1 o'clock games. I'm going to let you know who I think is going to win each one of them. I'll go through and say a little bit about each game, and then I'll move on to the 4 o'clock games. So first, we've got the Minnesota Vikings versus the Cincinnati Bengals. This is going to be the battle of the backups with Jake Browning going against Carson Wentz. And I think that the Minnesota Vikings are going to win this one 30-24. Carson Wentz is more experienced, and I expect Minnesota's defense to be able to slow Browning down. So Minnesota wins 30-24. Next, we've got the Houston Texans versus the Jaguars. I believe this one's going to be a close game, but Houston absolutely needs to win this game to not go 0-3 in a very competitive AFC if they want to be able to make the playoffs again. So expect CJ Stroud and the Texans to win this game, possibly going to overtime, but I think they're going to win this one 26-20. Next, we've got the Colts versus the Titans. This is a divisional game, so it means it's going to be very competitive. Expect the Colts offense to keep running and keep being able to move the football under Danny Dimes. The Titans have a little bit too many holes on defense and offense, and I don't think they'll be able to keep up with them even though they are at home. I expect the Colts to win this one 31-20. Colts win. Danny Dimes, ironically, keeps his career going, keeps things alive, and keeps it looking good in Indianapolis. Next, we've got the Raiders going cross-country to visit the Washington Commanders. The Commanders' star quarterback, Jaden Daniels, is out with that knee injury, so he will not be playing. Marcus Mariota, his backup, is going to be starting this game. And Mariota, although a very serviceable backup QB, I don't see their offense being able to get on track versus this Raiders defense, which has been kind of tough, and holding opponents to less than 20 points. So I think Geno Smith is going to be able to get the ball rolling with the offense. I see the Raiders winning this one 27-20. The Raiders win on the road because they're going to need this W to be able to compete in that competitive AFC West. Okay, so this is the game of the day in my opinion. The Rams travel to Philadelphia to play the Eagles. Both teams are coming in undefeated, and this is a rematch of last year's divisional playoff game that was in the snow, which is a great game, which I enjoyed watching myself. I think this one's gonna ultimately have the same exact result though. The Eagles look very strong on defense, and even though their offense has been struggling a little bit, I don't see the Rams being able to make that cross-country trip and being able to defeat this Eagles team. The Eagles have way too much talent on offense and defense, and as stated, I think this is going to be a very close game, but I see the Eagles pulling this one out 34-31. The tush push is going to win. It's going to be a very close contest, but the Eagles are going to get the win. Next up, we got the Falcons versus the Panthers. I think this is going to be a relatively close game, but at the same time, I also think the Falcons defense is going to dominate the Panthers offensive line. They're going to basically give Bryce Young some fits. I don't see the Panthers with a whole lot of offense, so I pick Atlanta to win this game 23-16. I think Michael Penix will be able to get the offense rolling a little bit, and they're going to get the win. 23-16, the Falcons beat the Panthers. Next game is the Steelers travel to Foxborough to play the Patriots. I see this one being a defensive battle with both defenses being able to force the other team into at least 2 turnovers, probably a fumble and interception each. But I think the Steelers are going to come out on top with a little bit more experience, a little bit better coaching, and a little bit better team overall. So I expect the Steelers to win this one. It's going to be close. Steelers win this one 19-10. The Steelers get the W. Old Man Rodgers and his boys roll over the Patriots, 19-10. The Packers travel to Cleveland to play the Browns. Unfortunately, Cleveland, this is going to be a long afternoon for you guys. The Packers' offense and defense is significantly better. Even though the Browns do have solid defense, I expect the Packers to hang 40 to 45 points on them. The Browns will probably score some late touchdowns just to make it look a little bit better than it really is. For example, it'll probably be 30 to 40 something to like 7 points for most of the game, and then they'll probably score like 2 late touchdowns in the fourth quarter after the Packers have pulled out most of their starters, or after Flacco gets knocked out of the game in like the third or fourth quarter, something like that. So expect the Packers to win this game 45-21. 45-21, the Packers win. All right, and the last 1 o'clock game for me to give my pick for is the New York Jets travel to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So now I see this one being a somewhat of a shootout because the Bucs historically give up a lot of passing yards to backup quarterbacks in games that we quote unquote should win. So with Tyrod Taylor starting for the New York Jets, I think he's going to have a solid game where he's going to throw at least 2 touchdowns. But ultimately, I see the Bucs winning this game. So I feel like Baker Mayfield and our offense is going to be able to have their way with the Jets defense, because the Jets have given up over 30 points in their first 2 games. So expect Tampa Bay to score about 38 points this week. But like I said, I think it's going to be a shootout probably in the first half, and with the Bucs making some adjustments at halftime to be able to slow down the New York Jets offense. So Bucs win 38-28 with Baker Mayfield having over 330 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. I expect Bucky Irving to score at least 2 touchdowns as well. It's going to be a good game, and you can take that one to the bank as far as your fantasy. If you're playing fantasy and you want a quarterback to start, go for Baker Mayfield this week versus that Jets defense that's giving up 30 points in both of their first 2 contests. This is the afternoon games. So these are the games that start at 4 o'clock, 4:05, 4:25, etc., etc. So the first game is the Broncos versus the Chargers. This one's going to be in Los Angeles, and this is going to be for first place in the AFC West. I see the Chargers coming out on top of a very close game. It's going to be very competitive, but I feel like their coaching and their quarterback play from Justin Herbert is going to be the deciding factor in this game. So I picked the Chargers to come out on top, 25-21, and they'll claim first place in the very competitive AFC West. Next up, we have the Saints visiting the Seattle Seahawks. I think this one's going to be a very tough game for the Saints. Seattle historically does very well in the very beginning of the season, usually blowing a couple teams out and kind of getting a lot of hype going around their team and getting everyone excited. Whether or not they'll be able to do that under their new quarterback, who is, I can't think of his name right this moment, but the new QB that they signed from Minnesota, I think Seattle's going to roll in this game. I picked the Seahawks to win this one, 41-17. They're going to give that Saints defense and offense all kinds of fits all day long. 41-17, Seahawks blow the Saints out. And the next game of the 4 o'clock late games is the Cowboys visit Soldier Field to take on the Chicago Bears. Both teams need this win because, of course, they don't want their season going in the wrong direction really, really fast. Cowboys are coming in 1-1 with a whole lot of expectations. And, of course, the Bears are 0-2. The last thing they want to do is drop down to 0-3. That's almost a death knell in the NFL these days, especially as far as trying to make the playoffs. But I think the Cowboys are going to win this game on a late field goal. It's going to be a very close game, back and forth, and very competitive. Cowboys win this one 27-24. A late field goal seals it, and the Bears drop to 0-3. Cowboys get the dub. And the last 2 contests for this particular Sunday of this week, because I'm going to do a separate video for Monday Night Football, but the last 2 games are going to be the Cardinals versus the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are going to be starting Mac Jones again in place of Brock Purdy, who has a shoulder injury. So the Cardinals usually play the 49ers pretty tough, and even though the Niners have full home field advantage, I expect the Cardinals defense and Kyler Murray with the offense to be a little bit too much for the 49ers today. Mac Jones had a good showing last week, but I don't see that happening again this week. The Cardinals pull off a sneaky win, 31-30 in Levi Stadium in San Francisco. Cardinals win this game 31-30. I think Kyler Murray is going to have a pretty strong showing, and I think Mac Jones is going to probably have 2 or 3 interceptions, which is going to prompt the 49ers coaching staff to want to get Brock Purdy back into his starting role next week. So the Cardinals pull off an upset. Cardinals win this game 31-30. And the last game of this particular Sunday is the Sunday night game. It's going to be the New York Giants taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, with the Chiefs making the trip to MetLife Stadium. So, of course, the Giants have the tall task of trying to beat the Chiefs. Chiefs are coming into this game unexpectedly at 0-2, which no one really saw coming. So, of course, they can't drop to 0-3 versus the lowly New York Giants. Even though the Giants had a strong offensive performance last week versus the Dallas Cowboys, where Russell Wilson threw for a significant amount of yards. Don't know the exact number right this moment, but Russell Wilson looked like he vintage his old self. But unfortunately this week, I don't see that happening again, with the Chiefs coming in hungry for a win and them looking up at the Chargers and the Broncos in the standings. They can't drop to 0-3 because if they do, their season would definitely be teetering at that point. So I expect the Kansas City Chiefs to come in and put on a strong show on offense and defense. Chiefs blow the Giants out 38-17. 38-17, the Chiefs win the night game. Okay, so those were my picks for the NFL Week 3 for the Sunday games. So now, of course, let's see how right or wrong I was with these picks. If you agree or if you disagree, let me know in the comment section. Let me know what your picks are for this particular week. Let me know if there's any games you think I got completely wrong, or if there's any games you think that I was on the money with. Also, at the end of the day, we'll be able to check to see, was I right, was I wrong? So make sure you can check back and make sure you leave a comment there. And of course, make sure you check for the Monday Night Football video that's going to be the preview of the Ravens versus the Lions. So make sure you follow Mindbender Entertainment on Instagram at Mindbender_entertainment. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. And of course, make sure you join Mindbender Entertainment Sports on Facebook. And that's just Mindbender Entertainment Sports. So until next time, remember, the future is now.